Siam, the 13-year-old girl who challenged the rules of mathematics. Dear friends, a cold and silent morning in January 1897 appeared no different from any ordinary day. Icy winds swept through the air of Boston, the streets were unusually quiet, and people were absorbed in their daily routines. No one could have imagined that this very day would give birth to an extraordinary story, one that would eventually change how intelligence, knowledge, science, and the true worth of a human being are understood. This was not the story of a king, nor of a wealthy or famous scientist. Instead, it was the story of the daughter of a poor black woman who worked as a cleaner. Her name was Lydia Johnson, a young girl whose achievement left even the greatest professors astonished. Friends, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, known today as MIT, was already a major center of learning and research in 1897. It was home to the brightest students, expert professors, and some of the greatest scientific minds in the country. Around that time, an unusual letter arrived at one of the institute's offices. It was not written by a renowned scientist, nor sent by a powerful institution or a wealthy individual. The letter was written by a mill foreman and night watchman named Thomas Hendricks. The handwriting was unpolished, the words hesitant, and the sentences filled with repeated apologies, as if the writer himself doubted what he was describing. Thomas repeatedly apologized for his poor writing and lack of education, but explained that what he had witnessed was so remarkable that he could not remain silent. He wrote that in one of MIT's laboratories, a young girl had solved an extremely complex mathematical problem, one that professors and graduate students had been struggling with for weeks. He emphasized that the girl was only 13 years old, black, and the daughter of a woman who earned her living through cleaning work. Thomas described that night as an ordinary one. He was on his usual night shift, patrolling the building, checking doors, and making sure everything was secure. It was nearly 2 o'clock in the morning. The building was completely silent, and most of the lights were turned off. Suddenly, he noticed a faint light coming from one room. This annoyed him, as no one was permitted to be inside at that hour. As he approached the room, he stopped in his tracks. Standing in front of a blackboard was a small girl. She held a piece of chalk in her hand, her fingers covered in white dust, tears streaming down her cheeks. The blackboard was filled with extremely complex equations, so advanced that they would make an ordinary person dizzy. Thomas had never seen such mathematics in his life, but he knew these were the same problems professors debated intensely during the day. When Thomas sternly asked what she was doing there, the girl panicked. She immediately put the chalk down, lowered her head, and began apologizing softly. She said she knew it was wrong to be there, but she could not stop herself after seeing the equations. She explained that the mathematics written on the board was incorrect, and looking at it gave her a headache, so she simply tried to fix it. Dear friends, this explanation was unbelievable to Thomas. A 13-year-old girl, from a poor black family, claiming that the mathematics written by MIT professors was wrong. At first, he felt anger. Then came shock, followed by an unsettling fear. He examined the blackboard closely. Although he did not fully understand what he saw, he knew instinctively that this was no ordinary matter. He quickly copied the solution from the blackboard onto his own paper. Afterward, he asked the girl to leave, but without harshness. All night long, he remained lost in thought, wondering what he had just witnessed. At dawn, he wrote the letter that eventually reached a senior MIT professor, Henson Webb. Professor Henson Webb was a seasoned mathematician who had spent 30 years in teaching and research. He received countless letters every day, some from people claiming to be great scientists, others asserting they had uncovered the secrets of the universe, and many seeking recognition for their ideas. Most of these letters were ignored without being read. But this one was different, perhaps because of the writer's simplicity, his nervous tone, or the mathematical equations enclosed with the letter. The moment Professor Webb looked at the equations, his expression changed. It was the same problem his best students had been working on for 3 weeks without reaching a clear solution. He examined the solution once, then again, and finally studied it with intense focus. The more he looked, the greater his astonishment became. The solution was not only correct, it was extraordinarily simple and elegant. It was not found in any textbook. It was beyond the capability of an ordinary mind. It reflected the thinking of someone who did not see mathematics as a mere game of numbers, but as a living, breathing reality.